McLeod Law is a full-service firm that gives a customized approach to each client. They pride themselves in that and their unique skill set. Well, they've recently partnered with a Mount Royal University professor to help small and medium businesses thrive through the turbulent times we're living in. Let's find out more. Rob, Simon, good to meet you both.
Yeah, great to meet you as well, Gord.
Give us a little background on McLeod Law. You've been with the group for 20 years, half of its existence. Now one of the preeminent law firms and handles pretty much anything anybody would need with a law firm.
I think it's important to talk about how it started. A couple gentlemen that were, downtown lawyers in the thick of things, and they realized that there was a huge segment of the population that wasn't being serviced. I came about it a little bit differently. I started in an entrepreneurial family. I never wanted to be a lawyer, and chose to do a year of law school while I was doing my MBA, and just continued on with it.
And now you're doing things like what we're going to talk about right now, where you're trying to connect people and entrepreneurs and small businesses to help them be successful. How would you describe what we're talking about today?
I've got this motivation and interest to trying to learn more about clients and bring other value to the table, whether that be connections, strategy, other people in the ecosystem like Simon.
Simon, you teach entrepreneurship, if you will, at MRU. Were you always an entrepreneur?
A lot of people would know me as the professor of entrepreneurship at Mount Royal, but I started off in business, learned a ton, really enjoyed that. But what it was all about was this bridge between academia and industry. How can we take this good quality knowledge that's normally locked within these walls of institutions and actually take that into industry and apply it in meaningful ways for the better. So that's what I became passionate about, was sitting on that fence between academia and industry. It's an uncomfortable place to be a lot of the time, but it's also a very creative place to be, and I thoroughly enjoyed occupying that space.
Because that's your world, then you came to McLeod and said, I think we can work on this. I can do some research for you and help you help others?
100%. I mean, there's a lot that we still need to know about how organizations achieve growth and success. And McLeod, has that passion and interest to want to do that.
COVID, how did it impact McLeod and your world, and how do you see what happened and how people reacted?
The one big thing it taught me is how important change and fear is more than anything. It's wrapping your head around that change and being a little bit open to not be so scared and realize that there's opportunities here.
What did successful companies do during COVID?
One of the key aspects of resilience and what we found with COVID is this notion of bouncing forward. So resilience has often been this notion of let's get back to how we were, whereas now there's this bouncing forward mechanism.
Right. So your arrangement then, if you will, or connection with what Simon is doing, what do you want McLeod Law to be able to offer small businesses or others?
I would like existing and future clients to think more about utilizing law and legal services as part of strategic decisions instead of just being reactionary. I like connecting people, and I like helping them get to the next level.
I think what we've identified even recently is about the role of what we term sort of a navigator. I would place Rob in that kind of bucket, and I think from that perspective, they're individuals who, they'll approach someone like Rob and they'll say, I've got this problem. Legal services isn't necessarily the solution, but Rob will be able to direct them and point them in the right direction. So this wayfinding sort of approach is essential for the ecosystem. It's how healthy ecosystems work.
And a lot of what I do is not limited to just the legal advice. We have a tremendous opportunity and a benefit that I deal with a tremendous amount of clients, and it's kind of like accelerated learning. Simon's given me the opportunity to get some empirical information on it as well, and I don't think there's a lot of other places in town that are doing that.
Rob, Simon, great chatting with you.
Yeah, thanks very much. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks a lot, Gord. Pleasure to meet you, and excited for future conversations.
You bet. Thinking about starting a business, but not sure you have that entrepreneurial bug? Well, as I learned during my chat with Rob and Simon, it's nurture over nature, meaning if you're motivated enough, you can learn the skill set needed to run a business. Now more than ever, there are programs available to help you learn, grow, and thrive as a business leader. Learn how to get started. Visit McLeod-law.com.